What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today we're wrapping up the 2020 Arnold Classic results from day one of the finals. We've got men's classic physique, we've got figure, we've got women's physique, and we've got fitness. Wrapping that all up in this video. We've got videos, photos, the placings, all that good stuff. So make sure you stay tuned, and I really hope you guys enjoy this video. What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and before we get into this one, I want to encourage you guys, if you guys like this content and appreciate it, please give me a thumbs up and smash that like button. Also, comment below and give your opinion on all these placings and stuff as well. Also, subscribe and hit that notification bell button. That way you'll be updated with all the 2020 Arnold Classic news and results and all that good stuff, plus obviously future content surrounding bodybuilding. Anyway, let's get into this video. So let's start with the men's classic physique. Now, I have already done a classic physique pre-judging wrap-up where I really looked at the top three and broke down pose for pose who I thought was winning. So you can click that. There's a card up. There's also a link in the description as well. But Alex Cambronero, sorry, I always mess up his name. He comes out on top, and I predicted that after the pre-judging, and it was well-deserved. Going into this comp, though, I didn't have him winning. I had, other guys up there. But let's break it down from 6th to 1st. So Santiago Aragon finishes in 6th. Now, I'm a big fan of this dude. I've been following him for years. One of my mates actually made me aware of him, and I've always just liked his physique. Even though he's a shorter guy, and I'm normally drawn to the taller guys, there's just been something about it, like when you see the photos on Instagram of him just with his freaky proportions, and on stage sometimes he looks a little bit, like not squashed up, but his physique, obviously he is quite short, so he doesn't look as, like he has those sort of crazy levers, but still, even for his height, he does have really nice shape. The one thing I do find about Santi sometimes through that lower back, even like his lats on his twisting shots, it's not always as crisp as maybe it needs to be, because some of these guys come in peeled to the bone, but a really good showing from Santi, and he should be happy with this top 6 in the Arnold Classic. In 5th, Ricky Moten. Ricky looked really good. I think Ricky is very much like the 4th place finisher, Abner Logan, just a bit smaller. He's got some freaky body parts. He could be a tiny bit more crisp, but he's still bringing pretty crazy conditioning. But I think if he was to go another level without just adding muscle or whatever, I think just that tiny bit more conditioning or dryness, and he would be jumping guys potentially like Abner Logan, and then we'd be out maybe challenging a guy like Steve Laureus in this show. Now, 4th, as I mentioned, Abner Logan. I think he's got great shape. He's just one of these guys where, he's not as blessed as these very top guys in the Olympia, like a Brian Ansley or a Chris Bumstead or anything in terms of his shape. His shape's very nice, but I don't know if he'd ever be able to get to that level of being a 1 or 2 in the Olympia, unless he still has room to move in this division in terms of adding size. But very, very impressive competitor, and I thought he looked sensational, and I thought, to be honest, I didn't see too many comparisons, but I think he could have actually been put above Steve Laureus based on Steve's conditioning, who finished in 3rd place. Now, Steve was the favorite going into this show, and he really did, miss the mark by that little bit, which I was surprised because he works with Neil Hill, and normally his track record with clients is bringing him in condition pretty much always. So I was a little surprised with that. They said they wanted him bigger from last year. He did that, but he just didn't bring the same level of conditioning as last year, which still wasn't razor crazy sharp, but it was sharper than this version of Steve Laureus. In 2nd, we had Terrence Ruffin. Now, it was pretty much, I think, between Terrence Ruffin and Alex Cambronero for the win here. And Terrence, he brings something different to Alex. So you could make a case for him potentially winning because he's got those crazy insertions, like his back shots, just his waist just tapers in like crazy. A very, very good poser as well, which I believe is scored at the Arnold Classic. So you maybe give him an extra few points for that. And just really did look great. I mentioned in my pre-judging wrap-up that when he hits a side chest, he just is missing a little bit, maybe in the triceps or shoulders or something, where he doesn't look as big as these other dudes. But it's not all about size in this division, but I think some of those shots he doesn't look quite as good from the side. Now the winner, Alex Cambronero, looked sensational, the best he has ever looked. He's pretty much every shot he hits, he looks sensational. Like when he walks out and hits that front relax, it's just, for me, it's like basically game over, and he looked absolutely incredible here. I thought it was a well-deserved win. Other people, you know, if you disagree or whatever, let me know down in the comments. But I thought he was absolutely amazing, and he wins the Arnold Classic, and he's going to be going into that Olympia. And I don't know if he can knock off a Breon Ansley or a Chris Bumstead, but he can be that third place finisher and really, you know, push to actually even move up in that Olympia. Now let's move on to the figure. We had Natalia Soltero, Soltero winning this one, and she has an amazing physique. Like, you know, basically doesn't have a weak shot out there, and she just has crazy shape. Her back is, you know, has that sort of nice density without being too thick for figure. She just looks sensational. Bojana Vezacelic, she comes in second. Very similar physique, actually. Maybe just doesn't, I suppose, look as clean or runs quite as perfect as the winner, but an amazing physique, and you can't really knock her. And then Jessica Raz Padilla finishes in third place. Big fan of her. I've seen her compete in Australia, I believe, and I was a big fan. Now let's move on to the women's physique. We had Natalia Coelho win this one, and I thought this was a hands down the clearest victory of the day. She looked amazing. Her shoulder to waist ratio was always crazy. She's only 23 years old, I believe, and it looks like it's improved more. So, and it almost looks to the point where it's like, okay, you don't want to make that shoulder to waist any more obvious because it is already so crazy. But she really brought it. She really brought it. Her conditioning was probably about where it always is, maybe even slightly less, around that same level. And it looks like she made a few little improvements. And coming off the third place in the Olympia, where she potentially could have been second, she would have really wanted this title. And yeah, she brought it. And she has that conditioning from her back, with a very small waist, and just that front relax. You're just mind blown by looking at it. And in second place in that division, we had Jennifer Taylor. Looked really good, but when you stand her next to Natalia, I think that she's clearly not going to beat Natalia. And when, you know, she hits her shots, she's got great legs, really hard, but a few other spots on her physique aren't quite as hard as Natalia in terms of like her glutes and her arms, but overall looked very good. And in third place, we had Majita Zemalova, and she looked sensational as well. Actually, a very similar physique to Natalia, but the only difference is that she doesn't have as wide shoulders and she has a slightly wider waist from the front. So she's still got the taper, but because Natalia's is so crazy, you just can't make a case for her winning. So it's a somewhat similar physique, just not quite as good, but still all the same. Third in the Arnold Classic, looked sensational. Now in the fitness, I haven't seen their routines yet. Maybe by the time I put this video up, which will be in half an hour, I'll have the routines and I'll be able to insert them in, but I haven't seen them, so I can't really judge this one too well because I did miss the live stream on that part. But Missy Truscott wins this one. She looks sensational. Her physique was really good. In second place, we had Ariel Kadar. I'm a big fan of hers. I really like her physique. The look she brings to the stage and her stage presence is sensational. And Tiffany Chandler finishes in third. She's always a top girl up there and looked amazing as always. So that's it, guys. That's a wrap from day one from the Arnold Classic 2020. We have the men's classic physique, the figure, the women's physique, and the fitness. Now tomorrow, I'm going to have a pre-judging wrap-up, so I'm going to be waking up in the middle of the night to do this, so I hope you guys really enjoy it. I'm going to try to get it out pretty damn quick, and that's going to be the men's open bodybuilding, which is the major draw card. Obviously, there's no 212 this year, so don't worry about that, but we've got men's physique as well, which is incredibly popular. Andre Ferguson versus Brandon Hendrickson. It's going to be a battle, just like in the men's open. You got a battle between Big Ramy, Dexter Jackson, William Bonac, Cedric McMillan, a number of guys that can actually win this show. So that's super exciting. And then you got women's bikini as well for those who are into that division as well. So I'll be wrapping up all that tomorrow after the pre-judging with a focus really on the bodybuilding. I might even do a separate video for the other two divisions as well. Not too sure at this point. So make sure, if you guys want to see that content, go up straight away, subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell button. That way when the video goes up, you can be one of the first to see it and get my opinion on what went down, and I'll have all the video and all that good stuff in there as well. So make sure you do that. Click that notification bell button. It's really important. So I appreciate all the love, guys. If you like this content as well, give me a thumbs up and smash that like button. It really does help out the channel. It really does help me out so I can keep bringing more bodybuilding news to you guys. Anyway, that's it for another video. For Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.
Exactly. And then how much dieting did you do?
I've been dieting since I started bodybuilding. I really, I never stopped dieting. I don't like cheating meals. I don't like fatty. I just do this.
So you don't go out and get a Häagen-Dazs ice cream? Or no Wiener Schnitzel?